Ambassador Zorak watched through the curved window as Earth grew larger. His 4 eyes blinked nervously, and his blue-gray skin rippled with anxiety. The Vril diplomat had visited 23 planets in his career, but Earth was different. Humans were classified as Deathworlders, creatures who evolved on a planet so dangerous that they themselves had become dangerous. "We will land in 5 minutes," said the ship's computer voice. "Earth's gravity is 15% stronger than Vril standard. Oxygen levels are high. Temperature is variable." Zorak's assistant, Science Officer Melter, checked her equipment one final time. Her 6-fingered hands moved quickly over her scanner. "Remember, Ambassador, minimal physical contact with the humans. Their bones and muscles are extremely dense. They can break our limbs without meaning to." "I've read the briefing," Zorak said, his voice calm despite his fear. "Let us be diplomatic and careful." Their ship landed smoothly on a large concrete pad. Through the windows, they could see tall buildings reaching into the blue sky. The Earth's sun felt intensely bright compared to their home star. "Atmospheric composition acceptable," announced the computer. Door opening. A small group of humans waited outside. Zorak stepped carefully down the ramp, his 3-jointed legs adjusting to Earth's pull. The air smelled strange, rich with plant matter and water vapor. A human male stepped forward. He wore what Zorak recognized as formal Earth clothing, a dark suit with a colorful strip of fabric hanging from his neck. Beside him stood a small human with similar features. "Ambassador Zorak, welcome to Earth. I am Diplomat Jun Kim, Earth's representative to the Galactic Union. This is my daughter, Hana." The small human, a child, Zorak remembered from the briefings, smiled widely, showing small white teeth. Zorak tried not to think about how even human young had teeth designed for tearing meat. "Thank you for your welcome," Zorak said, his translation device converting his clicking sounds into human speech. "The Galactic Union is pleased to formalize relations with Earth." June extended his hand forward. Zorak had been prepared for this custom, but still hesitated. Human hands contained 27 bones and over 30 muscles. They could crush metal with proper leverage. Still, protocol demanded respect. Zorak extended a tentacle, which June shook gently. "We have prepared a tour of our facility," June explained. Then a small welcome ceremony. As they began walking toward the building, Zorak noticed movement behind the small human's legs. Something orange and furry emerged, walking on 4 legs. It had pointed ears, whiskers, and large, focused eyes. Melter immediately stepped back, her hand moving to her scanner. "What is that creature?" she asked, trying to sound casual while her skin changed to a pale blue. The small human smiled proudly. "This is Bomi. She's my cat. She's very friendly." Zorak had heard of Earth pets, but had not expected to encounter one so soon. The child bent down and picked up the small predator, cradling it against her chest. The creature made a vibrating sound. "Is it safe?" asked Zorak, watching as the animal's eyes tracked a flying insect with perfect precision. June laughed. "Completely safe. Domestic cats have lived with humans for thousands of years. They're wonderful companions." Just then, the insect flew higher. Without warning, the cat launched itself from the child's arms. Its body stretched, muscles visibly rippling beneath its fur. It sailed through the air, covering nearly 6 meters in a perfect arc. Its front limbs extended, revealing sharp white claws. It snatched the insect midair, then landed perfectly on top of a hovering security drone. The entire alien delegation froze. The cat balanced effortlessly on the moving machine, then casually jumped back down to the ground, returning to rub against Hana's legs. "Good jump, Bomi," Hana said, patting the predator's head. Zorak noticed his security team's hands had moved to their sidearms. He subtly gestured for them to stand down. This was a diplomatic mission, even if the humans kept killers as companions. The tour continued through the diplomatic facility. The humans showed them meeting rooms, living quarters, and a large hall prepared for the welcome ceremony. Through it all, the small orange predator followed, sometimes walking alongside the humans, sometimes disappearing only to reappear in unexpected places, on top of shelves, behind doors, or perched on furniture. "You will notice we've adjusted the temperature in your quarters," June explained. "We hope you'll be comfortable during your stay." "Thank you for your consideration," Zorak replied, watching nervously as the cat jumped onto a table, its muscles bunching and relaxing with frightening efficiency. That evening, after the formal welcome ceremony, Zorak met with his team in their secured quarters. The doors were sealed and anti-surveillance measures activated. Melter displayed her scanner readings on the wall screen. The image showed the internal structure of the cat, its skeleton, muscles, and organs rendered in perfect detail. "This creature," Melter said, her voice shaking slightly, "has a muscle density comparable to the dread beasts of Noctis IV." The room grew silent. Everyone knew of the predators of Noctis IV, creatures so dangerous that an entire planet had been quarantined. "Its claws," Melter continued, zooming in on the image, "are sharper than surgical steel. They retract into the paws when not needed. Its sensory capabilities exceed our best reconnaissance equipment. It can see in near darkness, hear sounds we cannot detect, and sense movement from extraordinary distances." "And they keep these creatures in their homes?" asked Security Chief Talon. "Near their young." "Not just near them," Melter said. "According to my cultural research, these cats often sleep in the same beds as human children." A collective shudder passed through the room. "There's more," Meltar added. "This cat is considered small by Earth standards. They have similar creatures called dogs that can be much larger, with even stronger jaws and teeth." Zorak considered this information carefully. "We must remember why we are here. Earth has resources the Galactic Union needs. Their technology is developing rapidly. We need this alliance." "But, Ambassador," Talon protested, "if their pets are this dangerous, what does that tell us about the humans themselves?" "It tells us," Zorak said slowly, "that we were right to be cautious. Earth is not just a death world. It is perhaps the most dangerous planet we have ever encountered, and its people have evolved alongside creatures of remarkable lethality, forming bonds with them instead of fearing them." He looked at the image of the cat once more, noting its perfectly evolved form, its potential for violence hidden behind soft fur and purring sounds. "We will proceed with the diplomatic mission," Zorak decided. "But we will also increase our security protocols. And perhaps," he added, "we should learn more about these pets. They may tell us more about humans than the humans themselves." The morning after their unsettling discovery about Earth cats, Ambassador Zorak and his team prepared for another day of diplomatic activities. Their sleep cycles had been disrupted, partly from Earth's different rotation period, but mostly from knowing that deadly predators called pets roamed freely through human dwellings. Today's schedule shows a cultural exchange activity. Talon, the security chief, reported during their morning briefing. Assistant Human Ambassador Sunli has suggested a walking tour of something called a park. "What is a park?" asked Melter, still reviewing data about the cat they had encountered. "According to their information, it's an open space within their city where they maintain plant life and recreational areas," Talon explained. "It should be safe enough. But I've doubled our security detail." 2 hours later, the delegation met Sun Li in the lobby of the diplomatic center. She was a tall human with a friendly smile and calm manner that Zorak found slightly reassuring. Unlike Diplomat Kim, she wore casual Earth clothing, loose fabric covering her limbs in bright colors. "I thought a morning in Hanging Park would help you understand daily Earth life better than formal meetings," she explained as they boarded a transport vehicle. "It's a beautiful day, and many Seoul residents will be enjoying the sunshine." As they approached the park, Zorak noticed increasing numbers of humans walking alongside four-legged creatures. Unlike the small orange cat from yesterday, these animals came in many sizes and shapes. Some were tiny enough to fit in human arms, while others stood as tall as a vril's waist. The transport stopped, and the delegation cautiously exited. The open space before them was covered in green plant matter, grass. Zorak remembered from the briefing materials, with tall plants, trees, providing shade. Humans were everywhere, and nearly all were accompanied by one of the four-legged creatures. "What are all these animals?" Zorak asked, his voice transmitter barely hiding his anxiety. "Dogs," Sun replied with a smile. "Earth's oldest animal companions. Different breeds suited for different purposes." Zorak watched as a human threw a small object, and a medium-sized dog raced after it, moving with incredible speed and precision. The dog snatched the object from the air and returned it to the human, who then threw it again. "Why is that human making the animal chase the object?" asked Melter, scanning the interaction. "It's play," explained Sun. "Dogs enjoy the activity, and it strengthens their bond with their humans. It also helps them exercise their natural abilities in a controlled way." As they walked further, Zorak noticed a particularly massive creature with thick black fur, heavy muscles, and a mouth that could clearly engulf a vril's entire head. His security team shifted nervously as they passed. "What is that one?" Zorak asked, trying to maintain diplomatic composure. "That's a Tibetan Mastiff," Sun explained casually. "One of our larger dog breeds. They were originally bred to protect livestock in mountain regions. Very loyal and protective animals." The massive beast turned its head toward the alien delegation, eyes focusing on them with evident intelligence. Its human companion, surprisingly small compared to the animal, gently touched the dog's back. The animal immediately relaxed. A short distance away, a human child no more than 6 Earth years old stood beside another large dog. This one had pointed ears and alert eyes that reminded Zorak of military reconnaissance officers. "Minho, show them what Daegu can do," the child's parent encouraged. The small human stood straight and called out in a clear voice, "Daegu, sit." The large animal, easily capable of severing limbs with its powerful jaws, immediately dropped to its haunches, eyes fixed attentively on the child. "Daegu, down." The animal lowered its entire body to the ground. "Daegu, roll over." The beast rolled onto its back, exposing its vulnerable underside, then returned to a sitting position, tail moving back and forth in what Zorak recognized as a display of happiness. The entire alien delegation stood in stunned silence. "That child is controlling that predator with voice commands," Meltar whispered to Zorak. "My scans indicate the animal could easily overpower the child, yet it obeys without hesitation." Sun noticed their reaction and smiled. "Dogs have been our companions for over 30,000 years. They've evolved alongside us through our entire civilization. They helped us hunt, protected our homes and families, and worked with us in countless ways." "Protected from what?" asked Meltar, her exoskeleton changing to a paler shade of blue as stress hormones flooded her system. Sun's smile remained pleasant. "From other Earth creatures, of course." Zorak felt a cold sensation move through his circulation system. If these powerful animals were the protectors, what manner of horrors lurked beyond human settlements? As if reading his thoughts, Sun continued, "Earth has many dangerous animals. Before modern technology, humans relied on dogs to warn us of predators, help us track food, and guard our young. Different dogs were bred for different purposes." She pointed to various animals as they walked. Those small ones were bred to hunt burrowing animals. The thin, fast ones chased quick prey across open ground. The large, powerful ones like the Mastiff protected against large predators or other humans during conflicts. "Other humans?" Talon asked sharply. "Your species used these animals against each other?" Sun nodded matter-of-factly. "Human history contains many conflicts. Dogs have served in our military and police forces for centuries. Their senses are often superior to ours. They stopped to watch a demonstration area where a human in uniform was putting a dog through various exercises. The animal moved with incredible precision, jumping over barriers, crawling under obstacles, and attacking a padded training sleeve worn by another human. That's a police training session, Sun explained. These dogs can track humans by scent alone, detect hidden substances, and apprehend dangerous individuals. The beast knows exactly where to bite to immobilize without killing. Notice Talon with professional assessment. That's tactical training beyond what many sentient species can master. Sun nodded. Dogs understand complex commands and can make situational decisions. Some working dogs know hundreds of specific words and commands. As they continued walking, Zorak noticed something strange. Despite the obvious danger these animals presented, human children ran toward them eagerly. Parents allowed small humans to embrace large dogs, bury their faces in fur, and even ride on the backs of larger breeds. Ambassador Lee, Zorak said carefully, I notice you allow your young to interact closely with these predators. Is there no concern for safety? Sun laughed softly. Properly trained family dogs are extremely gentle with children. In fact, many dogs see human children as their special responsibility to protect. There's a saying, a house isn't a home without a dog. As they returned to their transport, Zorak and his team exchanged meaningful glances. The implications were clear and disturbing. Humans had somehow formed partnerships with deadly predators, selectively bred them for specific hunting and protection tasks, and now lived with these killers in their homes. Even more frightening, they did this because Earth contained threats so terrible that such protection was necessary. I believe, Zorak said quietly to Meltar as they boarded the transport, we have significantly underestimated the humans and their world. The delegation from the Galactic Union had a restless night after their park visit. Security Chief Talon ordered additional guards posted outside their quarters. No one voiced the obvious concern. If Earth's furry companions were this dangerous, what else might this planet hold? Morning arrived with news of the day's schedule. We will be visiting an aquarium today, Zorak announced to his team. Our guide says it's a facility where they keep water-dwelling creatures. Water-dwelling. Meltar looked up from her data tablet. Vril evolutionary records show that the most dangerous predators often evolve in water environments. Talon nodded grimly. Water provides support for larger body mass and faster movement. Our scientific studies of predator worlds confirm this pattern. Remember, we are diplomats, Zorak cautioned. Whatever we see today, we must maintain our composure. 2 hours later, the delegation arrived at a large building near the ocean. The structure featured blue glass and flowing architectural elements that suggested waves. A sign displayed images of various water creatures alongside smiling human children. Director Topark greeted them at the entrance. He was a tall human with kind eyes and a gentle voice. Welcome to Seoul Ocean World, one of our largest aquariums. We're honored to have the Galactic Union delegation tour our facility. They entered through wide doors into a space that immediately put the aliens on alert. The lighting was dim, with a blue tint that reminded Zorak uncomfortably of deep oceans on predator worlds. The sounds were muted, with strange bubbling and occasional distant calls that seemed to come from everywhere. We have over 650 species here, Director Park explained as they walked. Earth's oceans cover more than 70% of our planet's surface and contain ecosystems we're still discovering. They approached a transparent wall that separated them from an enormous tank of water. Small, colorful creatures darted back and forth in synchronized movements. These are simple schooling fish, explained Director Park. They move together for protection from predators. What predators? Asked Zorak, though he immediately regretted the question. The answer came as they turned a corner and entered a tunnel made entirely of transparent material. Above them, around them, swam creatures that made the entire delegation freeze in place. Huge bodies with sleek, muscular forms glided overhead. Some had rows of triangular teeth clearly visible in partially open mouths. Others had multiple limbs that moved with disturbing intelligence. Some were covered in armor-like plating with spikes and horns protruding at deadly angles. "This is our open ocean exhibit," Director Park said proudly. "Here we have various shark species, our giant manta rays, and several large grouper fish. A massive creature with cold, black eyes and a mouth that could swallow a brittle hole swam directly overhead. Its body moved with effortless power, suggesting incredible strength. That's a great white shark," explained Park, "one of Earth's apex predators. They've remained largely unchanged for hundreds of millions of years. Perfect evolutionary design." Zorak noticed that human children were pressing their faces against the transparent material, pointing and laughing as the deadly creatures passed. Parents lifted smaller children higher for a better view, completely unconcerned. "The children especially loved the shark exhibit," Director Park noted with a smile. Melter was discreetly scanning everything. "Ambassador," she whispered to Zorak, "that shark creature has bite force readings that exceed the attack capacity of military-grade cutting equipment. One bite could sever a support beam." They moved to another section where tentacled creatures changed colors and squeezed through impossibly small openings in rocky formations. "These are octopuses," explained Park. "Remarkably intelligent creatures. They can solve complex puzzles, recognize human faces, and have even been known to escape their enclosures." "They escape?" Talon asked sharply. "Occasionally," Park laughed. "They're curious by nature. We've had to redesign their habitats several times because they figured out the locks." As if the situation couldn't become more alarming, they next entered a section labeled Dangerous Beauties, where transparent containers held creatures of various sizes, all featuring bright warning colors. "These are our venomous species," Park said. "Blue-ringed octopus, stonefish, lionfish, and several species of sea snakes. Their toxins are among the most potent on Earth. And you keep them here, where your young can see them?" asked Zorak, unable to hide his disbelief. "Of course, educational purposes. Children are fascinated by dangerous creatures." Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out completely. Emergency lights cast an eerie red glow throughout the facility as an announcement played over speakers. "We're experiencing a minor power fluctuation. All systems remain operational. Please remain calm while we restore main power." In the dim red light, Zorak felt something small and fast move across his foot. He looked down and saw a tiny creature scurrying across the floor. It had small rounded ears, beady black eyes, and what appeared to be very sharp front teeth. The emergency lights fully activated, revealing the small creature clearly. It sat up on its hind legs, nose twitching, staring directly at the alien delegation. A small human child came running toward them. "Mochi, there you are." 3 security officers from the alien delegation immediately drew their weapons, pointing them at the tiny creature. A human security guard named Q moved quickly between the weapons and the small animal. "Whoa, easy there," he said, hands raised. Then he bent down and gently scooped up the tiny creature. "It's just a pet hamster, completely harmless." The child reached out, and Q placed the small animal in their hands. "Thank you. Mochi keeps escaping from his ball. He's very smart." Melter had already scanned the creature. She showed the readings discreetly to Zorak and Talon. The data was disturbing. Bite force relative to body size greater than industrial cutting tools. Metabolism capable of generating bursts of speed that would blur even advanced tracking systems. Teeth that continuously grew and self-sharpened. "You keep that as a pet too?" Zorak whispered incredulously to Q. "Some do." Q nodded with a casual smile. "They're popular pets for children. Though personally, I prefer my 2 pythons." "Pythons?" Meltar asked, almost afraid to hear the answer. "Yeah, constrictor snakes. About 3 meters long. Beautiful patterns on them. Very calm animals, actually." Director Park approached, looking apologetic. "I'm sorry about the power issue. It's been resolved now. Shall we continue to the dolphin exhibit? We have a special demonstration prepared." As they followed Park, Zorak leaned close to Talon. "They keep venomous creatures for education, predators with teeth for entertainment, and give their children tiny animals with industrial-strength bite capabilities. And snakes," added Talon. The security human casually mentioned keeping constrictor snakes in his dwelling. "I'm beginning to think," Zorak said quietly, "that humans may be the most dangerous species we've ever encountered, not because of their physical capabilities, which are impressive enough, but because of their complete lack of fear. What kind of evolutionary history creates a species that looks at deadly predators and thinks, 'Yes, I would like that in my home, near my children'?" Main power returned fully, illuminating their path to the next exhibit. Ahead, they could hear splashing sounds and the high-pitched calls of yet more unknown creatures. Zorak straightened his posture and prepared himself for whatever new horrors Earth's waters had produced. After the Aquarium visit, Ambassador Zorak called an emergency meeting with his delegation. They gathered in their secure quarters, faces grim and postures tense. "We need more information," Zorak said firmly. "We've seen these Earth creatures, but we don't understand them. Our diplomatic mission requires knowledge." "I agree," said Meltar, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. "I propose we request access to human biological databases. We should learn about Earth's evolutionary history." The next morning, Zorak formally requested research access from their human hosts. Within hours, Jin, their liaison officer, arrived at their quarters with good news. "Your research request has been approved," Jin announced, handing Meltar a data device. "This will give you full access to our scientific databases on Earth biology and ecology. Is there anything specific you're looking for?" Meltar tried to appear casual. "Just general information. We find Earth life forms fascinating." Jin smiled. "Take your time. The database is extensive. Call me if you need any clarification." After Jin left, the alien delegation gathered around the large display screen in their common area. Meltar connected the human data device, and information began flooding their system. For the next 8 hours, they barely spoke. The information they found was both fascinating and deeply disturbing. Earth wasn't merely a death world by Galactic Union classification. It was something far more extreme. "Look at this," Meltar said, displaying images of Earth's evolutionary timeline. "Life on this planet has been in constant conflict for over 3 billion years. Every adaptation for defense led to counter-adaptations for attack." Talon studied the data with a security officer's eye. "Even their plant life is aggressive. These trees compete for sunlight by growing taller and stealing it from others. Some plants release chemicals that kill neighboring species. The microscopic life is worse," added a junior scientist. "Their bacteria and viruses have been waging chemical warfare on each other and larger organisms for billions of years." "And the predators," Meltar continued, displaying images that made several delegation members step back. "Earth has produced predatory designs that would terrify any rational species. Look at this extinct Tyrannosaurus creature, or these current ocean predators called orcas that hunt in coordinated packs." Zorak studied the information carefully. "What's most concerning is humanity's place in this evolutionary nightmare. According to this data, humans aren't even the strongest or fastest predators. They succeeded through intelligence, tool use, and something called endurance hunting." "Endurance hunting?" asked Talon. "Apparently, early humans would chase prey animals for days," Meltar explained, reading from the database. "They couldn't outrun their prey, but they could outlast them. They would pursue an animal until it collapsed from exhaustion, then kill it." A disturbed silence fell over the room. "But what about their relationship with other predators?" Zorak finally asked. "Why do they keep dangerous animals close to them?" Meltar navigated to a section on domestication. "This is the most interesting part. Humans began forming relationships with other predators thousands of years ago. The first was the wolf, which evolved into the dogs we saw. Humans selected specific traits they found useful. So they bred more dangerous animals? Asked Talon. Not exactly, Meltar replied. They bred for compatibility with humans. They selected animals that could understand human commands, form emotional bonds, and work cooperatively. But they often kept or enhanced the predatory capabilities. Zorak pondered this information. Request a meeting with the humans tomorrow. I want to see these working relationships in action. The next day, Jin took them to a military training facility outside the city. The compound was large and surrounded by high fences. Uniformed humans moved purposefully between various training areas. This is one of our animal training centers, Jin explained as they walked through a security checkpoint. Here we prepare animals for various military and public safety roles. Their first stop was an open field where humans worked with dogs. The animals moved with incredible focus and precision. These dogs are being trained to detect explosives and hidden weapons, Jin explained. Their sense of smell is approximately 10,000 times more sensitive than a human's. They can detect traces of materials that our technology sometimes misses. They watched as a dog searched a complex arrangement of containers, quickly identifying one that contained hidden materials. The handler rewarded the animal with praise and play. The dog could easily tear through those containers, Talon observed. Yet it simply indicates the target and waits for human instructions. Jin nodded. The relationship is based on trust and clear communication. Next, they visited an indoor pool facility where large gray animals with smooth skin moved through water with astonishing speed and grace. These are bottlenose dolphins, Jin explained. They're being trained to locate underwater mines and identify suspicious objects in harbors. Their echolocation abilities can detect objects our sonar technology might miss. Meltar scanned the animals discreetly. These creatures have enough muscle power to break human bones, yet the trainers swim alongside them without protection. Dolphins are highly intelligent and social, Jin said. They form strong bonds with their trainers. Their final stop was an aviary where various birds perched on human arms or flew to specific targets on command. Birds serve multiple functions, Jin explained. Ravens and crows can be trained for surveillance. Falcons can intercept unauthorized drones. And these pigeons are still used to carry messages through areas with electromagnetic disruption fields that disable electronic communications. Zorak watched as a small gray bird flew directly to a target over a kilometer away, navigating perfectly despite electronic jamming devices that had been activated. I don't understand, Zorak confessed to Jin as they prepared to leave. These creatures could easily kill you. The aquatic mammals could drown your personnel. The birds could strike vulnerable eyes or arteries. The dogs could tear through protective gear. Why do you trust them? Jin considered this question thoughtfully. Perhaps because we recognize in them something of ourselves, she said finally. On Earth, survival has always required partnership. No species succeeds entirely alone. As they returned to their transport, Zorak's mind was filled with new understanding. Humans hadn't conquered Earth's deadly creatures through force or technology alone. They had done something far more surprising. They had formed alliances with them. A species that can turn potential predators into allies, he said quietly to Meltar, is perhaps more advanced than we initially realized. Or more dangerous, Talon added. They understand predators because they are predators themselves. Zorak nodded slowly. Perhaps both are true. And perhaps that is why we need this alliance with Earth more than we knew. The final day of the diplomatic mission arrived with clear skies and warm sunshine. The Galactic Union Council would vote on Earth's admission tomorrow, and Ambassador Zorak was preparing his final report. 2 weeks of observing Earth's dangerous creatures had changed his perspective. Humans were strange, but perhaps valuable allies. Zorak sat in the diplomatic compound's garden, enjoying the peace. Colorful fish swam in a pond nearby. Flowers bloomed all around. In the distance, he could see the compound's security team with their trained dogs patrolling the perimeter. Diplomat Jun Kim and his daughter Hannah joined him, along with the orange cat, Bomi. Assistant Ambassador Sun Li and Security Officer Q completed the human group. "We've enjoyed hosting your delegation," Jun said. "We hope this marks the beginning of a productive relationship between Earth and the Galactic Union." Zorak was about to respond when Melter rushed into the garden, her skin pale with alarm. "Ambassador, we've detected unusual energy signatures approaching the compound," she reported. "Our sensors indicate cloaking technology similar to Gorvak's design." Q immediately reached for his communication device. "I'll alert security." Before he could activate it, a high-pitched whine filled the air. Invisible energy waves rippled across the compound. The human security personnel suddenly collapsed, their nervous systems overloaded by neural disruptors. "It's an attack," Talon shouted, drawing his weapon. "Protect the ambassador." Chaos erupted throughout the compound. Shadowy figures in dark armor materialized as their cloaking technology deactivated for combat. They moved with military precision, disabling the compound's defense systems. "Get down," Q shouted to the diplomats, even as he fell to his knees, fighting the effects of the neural weapon. Zorak found himself separated from his security team as two attackers cornered him against the garden wall. Their weapons were aimed directly at him. "The Gorvak's Purity Front rejects Earth's admission to the Galactic Union," one attacker said in the common trade language. "Your recommendation dies with you, Ambassador." Zorak faced his attackers with dignity. He had served the Union for many cycles and would die with honor. But as the weapons powered up, something unexpected happened. A blur of orange fur shot past him with incredible speed. Hana's cat, Bomi, launched herself through the air with a sound that chilled Zorak's circulatory fluid, a high-pitched hunting cry no house pet should make. The first attacker screamed as Bomi's claws found gaps in his protective armor with surgical precision. The cat moved like liquid, striking vulnerable points that even trained assassins would struggle to locate. Eyes, throat, wrist junctions. Bomi attacked with perfect accuracy. From elsewhere in the compound came deep, thunderous barking. The security dogs had somehow broken free of their kennels despite the electronic locks. Led by Q's massive German shepherd, they moved in coordinated patterns that suggested tactical training, protecting the fallen human security forces and attacking intruders with focused precision. Zorak watched in amazement as a large black dog tackled an attacker who was approaching Jun and Hana, while smaller dogs worked together to disarm others. They weren't attacking randomly. They were making strategic choices about targets and tactics. Even the ambassador's prized koi fish contributed to the defense. When three attackers tried to cross the decorative pond as a shortcut, the fish began splashing violently, creating enough noise to alert a hidden security officer who had been protected from the neural weapon by a structural barrier. The officer emerged and neutralized the threat. Zorak managed to reach Meltar, who was using her scanner as an improvised defense weapon. "Are you seeing this?" he asked. "The animals," Meltar whispered. "They're defending the humans without commands. It's instinctive." Within minutes, the compound's backup security systems activated. Human and Galactic Union reinforcements arrived, securing the area and apprehending the remaining attackers. The Gorvak's Purity Front members were placed in containment fields. Q slowly regained his feet as the neural disruptor's effects faded. His first action was not to check his weapon or report to superiors. Instead, he knelt beside his shepherd dog, checking the animal for injuries and speaking softly to it. "Good boy, Daegu. Good boy." The dog licked his face once, then resumed a protective stance beside him. Hana had recovered her cat, who was now calmly licking her paws as though she hadn't just disabled two armed attackers. The child held the cat close, whispering thanks into its orange fur. 3 hours later, an emergency council meeting was convened aboard the Galactic Union vessel in orbit. Security footage of the attack was displayed on large screens. The Union representatives watched in stunned silence as Earth's animals defended their human companions without hesitation. "This was no coincidence," said the Geronian representative. "These creatures made conscious choices to protect." The small feline targeted vulnerable points with precision that our top assassins would envy, added the Martic observer. And it lives in a home with a child. When all had spoken, Zorak stood. His formal diplomatic clothing was torn, and he still bore a slight injury from the attack, but his voice was clear and confident. Honored representatives, I believe we have misunderstood humans fundamentally. He addressed the Emergency Council. We classified them as Deathworlders because they survived a dangerous planet, but that's not what makes them unique. They're not masters who have tamed beasts. They're partners in a planetary alliance of predators. He displayed images from their 2-week mission. The cat, the dogs, the dolphins, the birds, creatures that could kill but chose to protect. Their pets protect them not out of fear or servitude, but something deeper, something we have no word for in our language. Love, suggested Sun, who had joined the council as Earth's representative. The word you're looking for is love. June nodded in agreement. Earth creatures form bonds that transcend simple survival advantages. Our relationship with animals has shaped our culture, our technology, even our understanding of ourselves. The council deliberated for hours. When they emerged, their decision was unanimous. Earth would join the Galactic Union with a unique classification in the registry, not merely Deathworlders, but guardian symbionts, the only known civilization to have evolved alongside its predators rather than in fear of them. 3 standard months later, Zorak returned to his homeworld with an unusual companion, a small orange cat, genetically similar to Bomi. The Galactic Union's most elite protection units had begun the controversial practice of including Earth animals in their security details. "Aren't you concerned about having a predator in your dwelling?" asked his neighbor, eyeing the cat nervously. "Not at all," Zorak replied, watching as the cat gracefully jumped to a high shelf. "On Earth, I learned that the most dangerous-looking creatures often make the most loyal protectors. The humans taught us that fear isn't the only way to interact with a dangerous universe." The cat looked at him with knowing golden eyes, then curled into a ball and began to purr. Throughout the galaxy, diplomatic pouches now often included unusual cargo, small carriers containing Earth cats. Small, unassuming, and utterly lethal, much like the humans who loved them. The end.